Council. So we want to give a big welcome and a big shout out to the California Arts Council. They are a huge supporter of Poetry Out Loud. You can go to their website and find out all about it. And they are especially a huge supporter of us down here in Monterey. They're good friends to poetry, and they're good friends to arts everywhere, and they're good friends to Monterey County. So we appreciate their help. Thanks to the California Arts Council. Locally, you heard from Steve Elzy, who is the executive producer over at AMP Media. I want to send out a big thanks to Steve and the entire crew and cast and everybody from AMP Media. Thank you to Michael Martinez and all of his wonderful crew members. Also want to thank, speaking of arts councils, we want to thank our local arts council, the Arts Council for Monterey County. Without them, this program could never have gotten off the ground. 5 or 6 years ago, I happened to be driving in my car and I heard about this program on NPR. I pulled over immediately. I got on the phone and I got Paulette Lynch on the phone, and she immediately said, yes, let's do it. And we have been doing it ever since, and so we owe a huge debt of gratitude to the Arts Council for Monterey County. And today they're being represented by the lovely Jackie Hope, who is our prompter. And she is the educational coordinator for the Arts Council of Monterey County. So big thank you to them. Want to thank our schools here. We have, of course, our longtime friends from Pacific Grove, PG High, Pacific Grove High School, and they are represented by their coach and chair of the English department, Professor Larry Hagquist. Let's give them a round of applause. Larry was actually the first teacher that I brought this program to, and I hadn't even finished telling him about it. Like 3 minutes into my spiel, he was like, we're doing it. I don't need to hear any more. We're doing it. Want to thank the Santa Catalina Alumni Association and Santa Catalina School. Santa Catalina School, via the wonderful professor of English, Mr. Simon Hunt, has been a member of Poetry Out Loud for the last couple of years, and they have been putting in some really great work, and they have some wonderful talent of which you'll hear from tonight. So thank you. Big round of applause for Simon Hunt and Santa Catalina School. I believe this is their first time here, so I'm really happy to welcome York School. York School is here, and we are very thrilled and happy to have York School and have representation from them. So thank you to York School. Yeah, give them a round of applause. And we also have Carmel High. Carmel High School is here tonight, and I think this is their second year, I believe they've been with us. They were here last year, but they've sent you a wonderful representative who you're going to hear from shortly. So let's give them a big round of applause. Carmel High School. And also want to thank a new sponsor that has come on, and it was just very fortuitous. I got an email one day that said, hey, we'd like to talk to you about some of the things you're doing and some of the programs you've got. We'd like to help. And it resulted in a wonderful grant and what will hopefully be an ongoing relationship with a wonderful group known as the Star Foundation. The Star Foundation. They're out of Salinas. So thank you to the Star Foundation. They're represented here today by Suzanne Mensner. So please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. They have committed through a grant, they have committed to help the Arts Council of Monterey County help us reach out to other high schools in the county. I told them my dream. My dream was to have every high school in Monterey County involved in this program, and that's still a dream I'm pursuing and we're going to pursue with the help of the Star Foundation. So thank you very much for that. So I'd like to introduce you to our judges, and we're going to start off with Miss Marge Jameson. Marge Jameson, who is the editor and publisher of the Cedar Street Times. Give her a wave back there. Give her a wave. Give her a hand. Next, we have Susie Joyce. Susie Joyce is a poetry activist, and she is also a published poet. She's back there. You can give her a hand. She works very closely with Pacific Grove's Poet Laureate and Poet in Residence, as they're also known, and she is a founder of the Poetry Collective. She's a two-time winner of the Black Sparrow Books Charles Bukowski Poetry Contest. So very, very much she knows what she's doing, I think. And last, as far as our primary judges go, last but certainly not least, is a fixture here in Monterey County. He's one of Monterey County's treasures here. He is a poet that many of us who've been here for a number of years have known and loved, and we love his work. And if you ever get a chance to hear him, you should definitely go out to do it. He's also an accomplished novelist, essayist, and a wonderful jazz musician. He has recently been commissioned commissioned by the historic Sandusky Foundation to write and produce an original musical score called Love Letters of Lynchburg, which I've just found out he's actually going to be flown out to Lynchburg to perform in Lynchburg, Virginia. So that's a wonderful thing. And he also has a group that he does work with as far as poetry and spoken word. He mixes it up with jazz and great music. So please give a big hand to Mr. Bill Miner. We have also on the judging panel, it is very important to the whole competition and to how Poetry Out Loud works. Accuracy is one of the most important things, and it is something that all of the contestants will be judged upon. So that is our wonderful director. She is actually serving as the president, currently the president of the Board of Directors for the Arts Council of Monterey County. She's also retired director of Monterey County's Emergency Communications Department. Please give a big warm welcome to Miss Lynn Diebold. And last, but certainly definitely not least in this crew here is our prompter. Another part of the program that the National Endowment of the Arts came up with when they originally created the program is a prompter. Now in classical theater, there used to always be a prompter at the head of the stage in case some of the actors forgot their lines or forgot a cue. Now hopefully that won't happen, but to be sure, in case a student or a competitor runs into a little bit of trouble, we have a prompter. And today our prompter is the lovely Jackie Hope. She is the Director of Arts and Education for the Arts Council of Monterey County. And I believe that's all I have to do right now, so I think we can get to the poetry. You guys ready for some poetry? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Well, we've got a couple of runners-up, and we're going to give them a chance to, they are runners-up at their school, so they are not the champions of their school, but they earned a position here to perform for all of you, and they worked very, very hard, and they're quite talented. So we're going to give you our runners-up first, and then we will get into the competition with our winners. So first off, I'd like to bring up, please welcome, from Santa Catalina School, please welcome Chloe Ryman.
The River Merchant's Wife, a Letter, by Ezra Pound, after Li Po. While my hair was still cut straight across my forehead, I played about the front gate, pulling flowers. You came by on bamboo stilts, playing horse. You walked about my seat, playing with blue plums. And we went on living in the village of Chokan, two small people, without dislike or suspicion. At 14, I married my Lord Yu. I never laughed, being bashful. Lowering my head, I looked at the wall, called to 1,000 times. I never looked back. At 15, I stopped scowling. I desired my dust to be mingled with yours forever and forever and forever. Why should I climb the lookout? At 16, you departed. You went into far Kutoen by the river of swirling eddies. And you have been gone 5 months. The monkeys make sorrowful noise overhead. You dragged your feet when you went out. By the gate now the moss is grown, the different mosses, too deep to clear them away. The leaves fall early this autumn and wind. The paired butterflies are already yellow with August over the grass in the west garden. They hurt me. I grow older. If you are coming down through the narrows of the River Kiang, please let me know beforehand, and I will come out to meet you as far as Chofusa.
Chloe Ryman. to bring up our next runner-up. From Pacific Grove High School. Pacific Grove High School, PG High, has been with us since the start, and they never fail to deliver when it comes to incredible talent. So please welcome Miss Taylor Rhodes.
Adam's Curse by William Butler Yeats. We sat together one summer's end, that beautiful, mild woman, your close friend, and you and I, and talked of poetry. I said, a line may take us hours, maybe. Yet, if it does not seem a moment's thought, our stitching and unstitching has been naught. Better go down upon your marrow bones and scrub a kitchen pavement, or break stones like an old pauper in all kinds of weather. For to articulate sweet sounds together is to work harder than all these, and yet be thought an idler by the noisy set of bankers, schoolmasters, and clergymen the martyrs call the world. And thereupon, that beautiful, mild woman, for whose sake there's many a one shall find out all heartache on finding that her voice is sweet and low, replied, to be born woman is to know, although they do not talk of it at school, that we must labor to be beautiful. I said, it's certain that there is no such fine thing, since Adam's fall but needs much laboring. There have been lovers who thought love should be compounded of such high courtesy that they would sigh and quote with learned looks precedents out of beautiful old books. Yet now it seems an idle trait enough. We sat grown quiet at the name of love. We saw the last embers of daylight die, and in the trembling blue-green of the sky, a moon, worn as if it had been a shell washed by time's waters as they rose and fell and broke about the stars in days and years. I had a thought for no one's but your ears, that you were beautiful, and that I had strove to love you in the old, high way of love, that it had all seemed happy, and yet we'd grown as weary-hearted as that hollow moon. Thank you.
Taylor Rhodes, Pacific Grove High School. Wonderful. Let's welcome up our very first competitor from Carmel High School. Please say hello to Chris Good.
Hello, my name is Chris Good, and I will be performing Queens by J.M. Sign. 7 dog days we let pass, naming queens in Glen McNass, all the rare and royal names wormy sheepskin yet retains. Etane, Helen, Maven Fan, Golden Deirdre's Tender Hand, Bert the Bigfoot sung by Vione, Cassandra, Monsard, found in Leon. Queens of Sheba, Meath and Connet coiffed with crown, or gaudy bonnet, queens whose fingers once did sermon, queens were eaten of fleas and vermin. Queens men drew like Mona Lisa, or slew with drugs in Roman Pisa. We named Lucretia Crivelli, and Titian's lady with the amber belly. Queens acquainted in learned sin, Jane of Jewry's slender shin. Queens who cut the bogs of Glana, Judith of Scripture, and Gloriana. Yet these are rotten, I ask their pardon, and weave the sun on rock and garden. These are rotten, so you're the queen of all the living or have been. Thank you.
Queens by Chris Good. By the way, let me take a moment while we're waiting here to get the high sign. I'd like to say thank you to the producer for this event here, which is a wonderful event. This is her second year in a row she's been producing this, and she worked with the Arts Council for Monterey County. She's an artist in her own right, a very talented one. I want to say thank you to Dana Goforth. Let's welcome up our second competitor for today. From Pacific Grove High School, please welcome Haley Walker.
Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, or A Vision in a Dream, a fragment. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alph, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man down to a sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers were girdled round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree. And here were forests, ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But, oh, that deep, romantic chasm, which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedarn cover. A savage place, as holy and enchanted as ere beneath a waning moon was haunted by woman wailing for her demon lover. And from this chasm, with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast, thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift, half-intermitted burst, huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks, at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with a mazy motion through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns, measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And amid this tumult, Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the wave, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer, in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song? To such a deep delight 'twould win me, that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air. That sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, Beware, beware his flashing eyes, his floating hair. Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread. For he on honeydew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. Thank you.
Haley Walker, Pacific Grove High School, Kubla Khan. It is definitely worth noting to say that of the last 5 years, I believe 3 of the last 5 state winners have come from Monterey County, and they've all originated at Pacific Grove High School. It's a wonderful record. Let's move on. Please welcome, from Santa Catalina School, Charmaine Sun.
The End of Science Fiction by Liesl Mueller. This is not fantasy. This is our life. We are the characters who have invaded the moon, who cannot stop their computers. We are the gods who can unmake the world in 7 days. Both hands are stopped at noon. We are beginning to live forever, in lightweight aluminum bodies with numbers stamped on our backs. We dial our words like music. We hear each other through water. The genre is dead. Invent something new. Invent a man and a woman naked in a garden. Invent a child that will save the world. A man who carries his father out of a burning city. Invent a spool of thread that leads a hero to safety. Invent an island on which he abandons the woman who saved his life with no loss of sleep over his betrayal. Invent us as we were, before our bodies glittered and we stopped bleeding. Invent a shepherd who kills a giant, a girl who grows into a tree, a woman who refuses to turn her back on the past and is changed to salt, a boy who steals his brother's birthright and becomes the head of a nation. Invent real tears, hard love, slow-spoken, ancient words, difficult as a child's first steps across a room.
Charmaine Sun, Santa Catalina School. The End of Science Fiction. Make sure I get that right. Our final competitor for the first round. We're very happy to have her here. Please welcome, from York School, Diana Hinojos.
Two Guitars by Victor Hernandez Cruz. 2 guitars were left in a room all alone. They sat on different corners of the parlor. In this solitude, they started talking to each other. My strings are tight and full of tears. The man who plays me has no heart. I have seen it leave out of his mouth. I have seen it melt out of his eyes. It dives into the pores of the earth. When they squeeze me tight, I bring down the angels who live off the chorus. The trio singing loosened organs, melodious screwdrivers, sentiments come off the hinges. Because a song is a mountain put into words, and landscape is the feeling that enters something so big in the harmony. We are always in danger of blowing up with passion. The other guitar, in 1944 New York, when the trio Los Panchos started with Mexican and Puerto Rican birds, I am the one that one of them held tight, like a woman. Their throats, gardenian gardens, an airport for dreams. I've been in theaters and cabarets. I played in an apartment on 102nd Street after a baptism, pregnant with women. The men flirted and were offered chicken soup. Echoes came from the hallways as if from caves. Somebody's opening the door now. The two guitars hushed, and there was a resonance left in the air, like what is left by the last chord of a bolero.
Diana Hinojos from York School, Two Guitars by Victor Hernandez Cruz. Let's start round two. Please welcome back to the stage from Carmel High, Chris Good.
Alone by Edgar Allan Poe. From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source, I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tones. For all I loved alone. Then, in the dawn of a most stormy life, in childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery that binds me still. From the torrent, from the mountain, from the red cliffs of the fountain, from the mountain, from the sun round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed flying by. Excuse me. I'm sorry. From the thunder, I'm so sorry. And the storm, and the cloud that took the form when all of heaven was blue of a demon in my view. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Please give Chris an extra round of applause. Chris Good, Carmel High School. All right, let's bring up our second competitor in round two. Please welcome once again to the stage, Haley Walker.
An Arundel Tomb by Philip Larkin. Side by side, their faces blurred, the Earl and Countess lie in stone. Their proper habits vaguely shown as jointed armor, stiffened pleat, and that faint hint of the absurd, the little dogs under their feet. Such plainness of the pre-Baroque hardly involves the eye, until it meets his left-hand gauntlet, still clasped, empty, in the other. And one sees, with a sharp, tender shock, his hand withdrawn, holding her hand. They would not think to lie so long. Such faithfulness in effigy was just a detail friends would see. A sculptor's sweet commissioned grace thrown off in helping to prolong the Latin names around the base. They would not guess how early, in their supine stationary voyage, the air would change to soundless damage. Turn the old tenantry away. How soon succeeding eyes begin to look, not read. Rigidly they persisted, linked through lengths and breadths of time. Snow fell, undated, Light each summer thronged the glass. A bright litter of bird calls strewed the same bone-riddled ground. And up the paths, the endless altered people came, washing at their identity. Now, helpless in the hollow of an unarmorial age, a trough of smoke in slow, suspended skeins above their scrap of history. Only an attitude remains. Time has transfigured them into untruth. The stone fidelity they hardly meant has come to be their final blazon. And to prove our almost instinct, almost true. What will survive of us is love. Thank you.
Haley Walker, Pacific Grove High School, and Arundel Toon. Please welcome back to the stage, Charmaine Sun.
The Man with the Hoe by Edwin Markham. Written after seeing Millet's world-famous painting. God made man in his own image. In the image of God made he him. Genesis. Bowed by the weight of centuries, he leans upon his hoe and gazes on the ground. The emptiness of ages in his face, and on his back, the burden of the world. Who made him dead to rapture and despair? A thing that grieves not and that never hopes, stolid and stunned, brother to the ox. Who loosened and let down this brutal jaw? Whose was the hand that slanted back this brow? Whose breath blew out the light within this brain? Is this the thing the Lord God made and gave to have dominion over sea and land? To trace the stars and search the heavens for power? To feel the passion of eternity? Is this the dream he dreamed who shaped the suns and marked their ways upon the ancient deep? Down all the stretch of hell to its last gulf, there is no shape more terrible than this, more tongued with censure of the world's blind greed, more filled with signs and portents for the soul, more fraught with danger to the universe. What gulfs between him and the seraphim, slave of the wheel of labor? What to him are Plato and the swing of Pleiades? What the long reaches of the peaks of song, the rift of dawn, the reddening of the rose? Through this dread shape the suffering ages look. Time's tragedy is in that aching stoop. Through this dread shape, humanity betrayed, plundered, profaned, and disinherited. Cries protest to the judges of the world, a protest that is also prophecy. O masters, lords, and rulers in all lands, is this the handiwork you give to God? This monstrous thing, distorted and soul-quenched? How will you ever straighten up this shape? Touch it again with immortality. Give back the upward looking and the light. Rebuild in it the music and the dream. Make right the immemorial infamies, perfidious wrongs, immedicable woes. O masters, lords, and rulers in all lands, how will the future reckon with this man? How answer his brute question in that hour when whirlwinds of rebellion shake the world? How will it be with kingdoms and with kings, with those who shaped him to the thing he is. When this dumb terror shall reply to God after the silence of the centuries.
Charmaine's son, the man with the hoe. Please welcome once again, Diana Hinojos.
I carry your heart with me. I carry it in, by E.E. Cummings. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no faith, for you are my faith, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful, you are my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonders that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart.
Diana Hinojos, I carry your heart with me. That's it for the second round. How about a big round of applause for all of your competitors and our runners-up? They all have done a wonderful job, all of them. Our runner-up for the 2014 Monterey County Poetry Out Loud competition, Miss Charmaine's son from Santa Catalina School. And why don't I have everybody, I'm going to have you come up. Charmaine, why don't you join us on stage? And in fact, let's get Chris and Diana up here as well, and everybody. Why don't you all come on up on stage? Matter of fact, let's get them all on stage. Yeah, give them a round. Sure, give them a round. Again, this is very tough. This is very tough. Our champion for 2014 for Monterey County, from Pacific Grove High School, Miss Haley Walker. Haley, step forward. Haley, I have a gift here for you from the Arts Council of Monterey. It's tiny, but it's powerful. I believe it's an iPod, right? Is that what we have? I think. Good. Cool. And feel free to open it and do it. And well, congratulations. Thanks. You've done a wonderful job. And to Chris and Diana, congratulations to you all as well. You all did wonderful work. Wonderful work. All right, that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Please give them one more round of applause. A big thank you once again to all of our judges, Marge Jameson, Bill Miner, Susie Joyce, our accuracy judge, Lynn Diebold. Big thank you to our prompter, Jackie Hope. And also, once again, thank you to our sponsors, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Poetry Foundation, the California Arts Council, the Arts Council for Monterey County, AMP Media, all of our schools, and the Santa Catalina Alumni Association and the Star Foundation. Our great thanks to all of you, ladies and gentlemen.